Hello again. I hope you all grabbed a snack. I had a little lunch and we are ready to go again. So this is going to be our watercolor class. So if you have watercolor pencils, grab them. Water brush or like just a paintbrush. Also, let me think. Intense black ink, and maybe a stamp set that you can color in, or if you do already have the August stamp of the month, grab that. We're going to be using that in this project, and I am just going to quickly share this over into my like I said earlier, I have our Craft with Julie Facebook page and Facebook group. And I just want to make sure everybody can find us. And we're going to share over in our group. All right. Did anybody do the color challenge or working on the color challenge? Okay. I grabbed the colors in person so you can see. Hey, Julie. So here is the color challenge colors. So there's toffee, smoothie, peach, and linen, or kind of like an off-white. So if you have these colors, grab them, make something with these colors, or if you do not have Close to My Heart colors, you can grab something that is similar and just create something with that and then post that on our group, and you can be entered in to win one of our prizes. This is the book I was talking about, The Love of Color. This book is so nice. When I am kind of stuck on what color combination to use, I just grab this, and we have a page for each of our colors, and then it gives you a 4-color option, a 3-color option. Some of them have 5-color options. So what I did was I went to toffee, because we're using toffee a lot in our color, or like in our cards and stuff today. So I went to toffee, and you'll find that we have toffee, peach, smoothie, and linen. So that's where I found our color combination for our color challenge. So I just wanted to show you that real quick. And then let's get on with our watercolor class. So somebody, let's see, Robin, I think, suggested this class. If you ever have a suggestion of something that you want to learn about, or a product you want to learn more about, techniques, just message me or put it in our group, and I'll do the best I can to teach what I know or what I can find out about that product. So these are kind of the two things I was playing with. This is just coloring, and then this is like swooshing, and I'll show you both of them. Let's start with this one real quick, because it's so easy. This is just white cardstock. I would probably suggest, if you have watercolor paper, to use it if possible. You can see that it kind of doesn't lay flat after you've used it. So you'll have to use a lot of adhesive, or just not as much water. Yeah, so you don't want to water it down too much. So I'm going to grab some of these pencils. I actually put them together so I could remember which ones go with which. So this is a fun technique. This is, I wrote down a couple of the techniques. This is kind of what is considered dry to wet. So you can color, hey Renee, hey Amy, and Kenzie, having a craft day. Thanks for joining us. So this is what's considered dry to wet. So we're going to just use the watercolor pencil just like a colored pencil, which is one of the things that you can do. And we're just going to put that right on our project. And then this next one, I'm going to go right into it, and then just continue that line. And then stick these back together so I don't forget. And let's do purple for fun. And Again, you can color it right over the top of each other. Okay, so that's on dry. You can leave it just like that. You can color in images with them, just like colored pencils, or you can add some water to it. And so I am going to either grab like a paper towel or something. I'm going to grab this is how I keep my chamois in a Rubbermaid tote, and I just got them wet. That's why they're a little humid. Grab a chamois and grab your water brush. This is the medium-sized water brush, I believe. They're really easy to use. You just unscrew that, put water in there, right there, and screw it back on. Okay. And then you can squeeze the water out into the brush. Can you see that, how it's kind of coming out? And then you can just kind of tap it off on your chamois. And then we're just going to add water to this, just swishing back and forth. So it's like you used your watercolors, but it's just the pencils. And go back and forth over it like that to get that kind of a swoosh look. And then you can clean it off on your chamois. Then you can set that aside to dry. You see how that kind of blends together. And then you can stamp right on top of it and add a sentiment or whatever you want to do. So that's how I made this card right here. So that is dry to wet technique. Oh, we're getting water all over. Okay, so the next one we can do, let's start on this project right here. Like I have a couple of techniques that I used on this. So I just grabbed, this one measures 4 1/4 by 3 inches. That's right there. And we are going to stamp a couple images. Again, this is the Floral Celebration, which is the August stamp of the month. And if you purchase the stamp of the month, like I mentioned earlier, you do get a free card kit that I mail to you just by purchasing the stamp of the month. Grab your Intense ink. We're going to use Intense ink, and I forgot to mention in our earlier timber class, I used Intense ink when I stamped those gnomes and the flowers, because Intense ink will not bleed when you're coloring them in. So you'll want to use Intense black. And let's grab our little flowers. So I use this one. Sorry if I'm I'm trying to stay in camera. There we go. And I use this one twice. So I'm just going to stamp one. Maybe I should bring this in so you guys can see the sample. There you go. I'm all looking at it, but you guys can't see it. Just remind me when I get going a little crazy. Just be like, hey, we can't see that. So I just stamped 2 of those. You can wash it off right on your chamois. And then I'm going to stamp this one in the center. Hopefully I left myself some room in there. Okay. And then the next technique I'm going to show you is actually pretty cool. So I'm going to take a black the black pencil, and we're going to do a dip and draw is what it's called. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the end of my watercolor pencil. This one's kind of leaky. I think I filled it up too much. I have 2 here, so let's see how this one does. You want to get the tip of your watercolor pencil wet, and it will come off on your watercolor brush, so you just want to wash that off if you can. But then we are going to just draw a line with that wet tip right down. So it gives it a watercolor look, but you have more, sorry if it's out of camera, let's see. You have more control. Just trying to get more watercolor color on there. You have more control with your pencil when you see how it kind of has that look like you used a really fine tip. Oh, that one's really wet. There we go. Isn't that cool? So that is a dip and draw. So if you have just like a thing of like a cup of water, you can just dip your pencil right into the water. So that's kind of a cool if you need to get really fine images. All right, so now let's do, let's stamp the leaves on there. And I think I used this one right here. And I feel like I did, no, that one's too big. I did the smaller one. This small guy. All right, and again, we're going to use the same intense black ink. I'm just going to stamp it right on top of that line. And I'm probably stamping these backwards. Is there a right or wrong way to stamp leaves? I don't know. I'm new here. I just thought they looked cute that way. All right, so what we're going to do now is take a green, any green that you would want, and we are going to color these in, like we're going to color the edges. So basically we're going to pull the color in when we're done. So take your pencil and we're just going to color in the edges of the leaf. And this is kind of cool. It's super messy. You don't have to be precise. I think watercoloring is kind of just a messy art anyway, which kind of, that's probably why I haven't done much of it, because I'm kind of a perfectionist. Who else is a perfectionist? Give me some love. Give me some hearts and thumbs ups. So it's just too messy for me, but I'm starting to really enjoy the process. So kind of just messy. Okay, now take your watercolor brush and you want it to be pretty dry. You don't want to be very wet at all. And just start pulling that color into those sections of white. You see how it's just kind of filling in. Now you can go back and add more color if you want to certain areas. If you want to shade things in darker, you can go back after you've added that water to color those in. Okay, so that is the dry, or to pull the color into your project. Hey Molly, is Brooke there with you? Are you guys crafting today? Last time Molly was at our kitchen table, so I love it. Where do you guys like to craft? Do you actually have a specific area, or do you just pull everything out and make a mess of your kitchen until it's dinner time and you have to make some dinner? Let me know in the comments. Okay. And then again, you can just pull that. You don't want a very wet brush or it's going to make your cardstock be too bendy. Yeah, that's the correct term, bendy. Oh good, I'm glad Brooke's with you. So that is kind of like the color. You color it in dry and then you pull it with your water. Okay, so then now we're going to do we're going to color in these flowers the same way, but then I'm going to show you a little different technique. So this flower, I just grabbed two different purples. Another tip I had as I was trying to figure out what colors to use, here's my my ugly sample page. I colored with just a dry on there, like I just colored the dry, and then I put my brush to see what color it would look like when it's wet, because they change colors when they're wet. So that's what I did to kind of decide what colors I wanted, because they look different when they're dry. So you just want to check out the wet. Hey Sherry, how are you? Okay, so we're going to just color in our flowers with just the dry pencil. And you don't have to be precise. You can just kind of make it a little messy because watercolors are messy, remember? All right, then I'm going to color in the center. And they almost look like the same color, but they are not. When you put water on them, they look different. Okay, I'm going to grab my water brush, and I'm going to just blend all of those together. Okay, when I get to the outside, because it's different color, I'm going to wipe off my brush so I don't mix the colors. Unless you want to mix them, you can totally do that too. Okay, so now I'm going to use that same dip and draw. I'm going to get the tip wet, and I'm going to just dip it right on top of those dots. Oops, I got a little excited there. My hand slipped. Just to give that more of a dense, dark look. Just dotting it right on top. Okay, and then you want to wipe that off because you see my chamois, it totally comes off on your pencil. Okay, did I do the outside? Yes. Okay, so now let's do this little pink guy. I can't remember which one I used. I think it's these two. See, look how different they look. That's why I had to do samples, just so I could see the different shades and different colors. So we're going to color that one in, do the same as the last flower. So they're kind of like the Tri-Blend markers. You get a lot bang for your buck. You can do all kinds of different techniques, use them in different ways. I want to say it's quite a nice set of watercolor pencils. You get a lot of options. I'll put a link in this video to the watercolor pencils so you can check them out, and all the different watercoloring supplies. And these are like a must-have. If you don't have these, grab you a water brush, because then you don't have to, go to the sink. You can just pull this out real fast and add some watercolor, and don't make the mess of cups. And I just leave these filled with water, and I leave them in my tool caddy, and so they're always ready to go. Okay, see how that kind of just meshes and blends that, so it's just kind of a nice watercolor look. All right, and our last flower, we're going to do the same, and I don't want to, the left hand problems, I don't want to color over my project or put my hand over the project. When I was in school, I'd come home with a lead pencil on the inside of my hand right there. Left hand problems, right? Who else is a lefty? I know there's quite a few of you out there because I saw from my earlier post. And then we're going to color the center in. Again, just messy, because it's all going to melt together once you add water. Okay, I'm gonna get my brush out. And just look how bright that is. So you have the two different, you can do it the dry with a lighter, or it just makes it more vibrant by adding a little bit of water. There you go. And then we're going to do that same dip and draw. Just add some water to my tip and add it right to those dots. You can also, I'm going to show you that in just a second. Pull the water off of your pencil and watercolor with your brush. So you can do it the opposite way too. Okay. And since I just did that, we are going to splatter. Here's another little technique. So you can see on my sample, I have those splatters. So I'm going to move these things a little bit out of the way because it's going to get messy. So I'm going to pull that color off with my brush. I'm going to squeeze out a tad, a little bit of water to make it wet. And I'm just going to tap and get splatters. Can you see those splatters? Isn't that fun? So even if you just want to add a little bit of splatter, you can grab a color pencil and pull the ink or pull the color off of it, and then just, oh, I need to add a little push. I'm just pushing that brush just a little bit to get more of the color out, or to get it wetter so it will splatter better. And there you go. All those fun things just with the watercolor pencils and a watercolor brush. Isn't that cool? Okay, so we did dry. You can just watercolor with the pencils. And I'll also type this out so you guys can remember. But you can just color with them as is. You can dip and draw. So you can dip your brush in the water and draw with it. That's what we did with the line and the little dots. Or you can do dry to wet. That's what we did with the leaves, where we colored it in and then we pulled the watercolor into the image. Or you can do the splatters with pulling the color and pulling this off onto your brush and then using your brush with your watercolors. So anyway, that's kind of fun. It's just different, a lot of different ways you can use them. If you have any other tips and techniques, put them in the comments. I love to learn new things, but those are the things that I tried out. And let's see, if you are coloring along with me, post a picture of your watercolor and you'll have a chance to win a prize. So it can just be your little swatch that you did, or even a project that you use your watercolors on. Anything that you're using the water pencil techniques on, just post a picture for a chance to win a prize. So come back. It looks like the next class is at 2, so you get to have a little while to work on the color challenge, watercolor pencils. There's also another little post that we'll be posting before our 2 o'clock class, so don't miss that for another chance to win a prize. But I'll be back to make, let me grab it. We're going to make a hedgehog box. So join me at 2 o'clock to learn how to make this cute little box. Thanks, we'll see you soon.